Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Come on in here and sit down with me. Get yourself something hot or cold to drink. And today we're looking at Psalm 88, verses 11 through 14. Now this comes in after the Selah. And we have a bunch of questions that he's going to ask, which is just natural, isn't it? When you are in affliction, you often ask questions. How long is this going to be? When will you answer my prayer? Why have you done this to me? I mean, all of those things are part of our prayer life when we're afflicted. And so we see it reflected right here. Now, we have 11 through 14 kind of previewed in verse 10. You know, in verse 10, he says, will you show wonders unto the dead? So we have the question in combination with this fixation on the grave, kind of like what we had in verse 3. Verse 3 was a preview for what we found in verses 4 through 6. You know, there in 3, he says, my life draws nigh unto the grave. Well, then in 4 through 6, he really magnifies that. He previews it in 3, and then in 4 through 6, he just expounds the pit, the dead, the grave, the lowest pit, the deeps. You know, so he kind of gives us all of that. Well, now he combines this fixation with the grave and his questions. So now we're going to read verses 11 through 14. Shall thy loving kindness be declared in the grave, or thy faithfulness in destruction? Shall thy wonders be known in the dark, and thy righteousness in the land of forgetfulness? But unto thee have I cried, O Lord, and in the morning shall my prayer prevent thee. O Lord, why castest off my soul? Why hidest thou thy face from me? So we see the questions still coming. Now they're coming in multiples. Shall your loving kindness be declared in the grave, or your faithfulness in destruction? That word destruction there is the Hebrew word abaddon. So this is the place of the dead. This is a place where they go. Shall thy works be known in the dark? Now the dark represents there abaddon or the grave. In the land of forgetfulness. The land of forgetfulness represents, of course, the dark, destruction, and the grave. All of these are descriptive words that give us this lovely definition of the psalmist's idea of the grave. So shall loving kindness, faithfulness, wonders, righteousness. So see, that's what he wants. He wants God's loving kindness, faithfulness, and wonders and his righteousness to be shown to him in this life, because in the next life, in the grave, in destruction, in the dark, amongst the dead, in the land of forgetfulness, none of that will happen for him. And so he wants it to happen in this life. And then notice verse 13. I think what he did was he sort of talked himself into a little bit of faith here, because he asked the questions, shall your loving kindness, your faithfulness, your wonders, your righteousness be in the land of forgetfulness? He says, but unto thee have I cried, O Lord, and in the morning shall my prayer prevent thee. So it's almost like he says, okay, but you know what? We have the adversative there in 13, but here I've cried unto you, and that's enough, really. That's enough. In the morning shall my prayer prevent thee. So I'm not going to stop praying. You know, I understand your loving kindness, faithfulness, wonders, and righteousness. And so I'm just going to continue my prayer life. I'm going to continue praying. And then he asked the question that every single one of us would ask, why have you cast my soul off? Why have you hidden your face from me? Isn't that exactly what we would do? Where are you, Lord? He gives us his faith there in 13, but unto thee have I cried, O Lord, and in the morning shall my prayer prevent thee. Lord, why? This is the question I want an answer to, Lord. Why? Why have you cast me off? Why have you hidden your face? You see, he said up there in verse 3, my soul is full of troubles. Well, now we know why. Because he feels like the Lord has cast off his soul. And with the multitude of his afflictions, you know, it just seems like the Lord has turned his face from him. Well, now we'll come to 15 through 18 tomorrow, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the affliction. So I hope you'll join me then here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.